Hi, it's that fantasy chick back again. It's another week back from Dragon Con. and I missed Monday because I was traveling. And I did not get home in time. I did not get home in time. I would have gotten home. I got home like a couple of hours too late um, to live stream, so I couldn't do it Monday. So sorry about that. But I'm here today, and we're going to be talking about Ahsoka, and we're going to be talking about where Ahsoka was during the original trilogy. But before that, I have an announcement for all of my Chicago people. If you are in the area of Chicago, um, uh, let me put this up here. I will be having a screening of one of my short films. Why isn't it? There we go. It's my short film 7. It will be at the Music Box October 7th. And it's one of several films that will be showing that afternoon. It's from 4:30 to 6:30. And, you use the QR code to buy the tickets. And there'll be a Q&A afterwards. So it's going to be fun. So we get to see one of my films and see one of my films on the big screen. I had a screening for this before, but it was at a bookstore. It was at a bookstore / coffee shop. So this will be the first time it's screening at a theater. So I'm excited about that. And so are the actors. So for all those in Chicago, feel free to come by. Again, use the QR code to get to the tickets. They're early bird prices. I forget when the early bird cuts off, but they're early bird prices and then it goes up. But yeah, so that. So that's what I'll be doing in October. So come by, see the film, ask some questions at the Q&A. Okay, so next, before we get into the episode, we want to talk about where Ahsoka was during the yeah it is where Ahsoka was during the original trilogy. So where is it? Here we go. Oh. Hmm. Let's see. I changed the. Um, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Oh no, that's not it. There we go. Okay. Where was Ahsoka during the original Star Wars trilogy? Ahsoka survives the events of the original trilogy, but her whereabouts during that time are still a bit of a mystery. Time to enter the world between worlds. Ahsoka Tano was first introduced in the 2008 animated film Star Wars The Clone Wars, which serves as a precursor to the animated series of the same name. While Ahsoka isn't necessarily the main character, The Clone Wars follows her journey as Anakin Skywalker's Padawan, including why she ultimately left the Jedi Order and how she escaped Order 66. She returned in Rebels, which takes place in the 5 years leading up to A New Hope, and we know she survived the Galactic Civil War, given her return in The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, and her own series, Ahsoka, all of which take place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, between 9 and 10 years after the Battle of Yavin in A New Hope. But since Ahsoka clearly survived the war with the Empire, where was she during the original trilogy? Why wasn't she around to help the rebellion take down the Emperor Darth Vader and both of their Death Stars? Well, the very simple, real world answer is that she hadn't been created when A New Hope and the original trilogy were filmed in the 1970s and 80s. While George Lucas did co-create the character with Ahsoka showrunner Dave Filoni for the Clone Wars, she didn't make her debut until after Revenge of the Sith, which is also why Ahsoka isn't in any of the prequel trilogy films. But the in-universe explanation for why Ahsoka wasn't around during the original trilogy era is a bit more complicated. In the season 2 finale of Rebels, Ahsoka joins Jedi Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger on a mission to an ancient Sith temple on the planet Malachor. What they don't know is that Darth Vader has been lured to the planet by Maul, which means Ahsoka finally has a chance to face her former master and witness what he's become. They face off in a duel with no clear winner, and at the end of the episode, as the temple falls around them, Ahsoka stays behind to keep Vader from following Kanan and Ezra. Ahsoka is presumed dead. In season 4, however, Ezra discovers a pathway to the world between worlds, a mystical plane between space and time that allows him to travel back in time and save Ahsoka from being struck down by Vader. Even though Ahsoka ultimately returns to the portal to Malachor after a run-in with the Emperor instead of joining Ezra and the Ghost Crew in 1 BBY a year before. A New Hope, her fate is changed and she survives the encounter with Vader. After she goes back to Malachor, it's unclear how long she was stranded on the planet before finally finding her way back to her friends. Thanks to some info on the series of Star Wars trading cards, of all places, we know Ahsoka eventually found a way back into the world between worlds and went on a spiritual journey that ended with her return to the known galaxy, which is how she turns up on Lothal in the epilogue of the Rebels series finale, dressed in white robes, ready to head off into space with Sabine Wren to find Ezra after he went missing with Thrawn during the animated series final battle. The this epilogue takes place around 5 ABY, which is approximately 6 to 7 years after Ezra saves Ahsoka from Vader on Malachor. That's a lot of time in Ahsoka's history that's unaccounted for. Perhaps we'll learn more about her travels on Malachor and the World Between Worlds on Ahsoka. Ahsoka versus Vader. So that must be in the animated series, the Ahsoka versus Vader. So that would probably be in the Star Wars Rebels. It'll be interesting to find. But yeah, so so she fought Darth Vader. She dies in the midst. They go back in time, save her, and she goes back, fights him again, and survives this time. It's a lot. A lot has happened, and there's still 6 to 7 years unaccounted for through all of that. So that would be interesting if they explore that on the show, if they even bring it up. What does that mean? She doesn't seem like she's been on a spiritual journey. What does people who look like, what does people who've been on spiritual journeys look like? I don't know. I don't know the answer to this question. So it's hard for me to say. Yeah. So okay. So now Ahsoka. So we pick up right where we left off. Ahsoka, Sabine, and the robot, they've landed in the woods somewhere. And the bad force user is sending his people after them. And the witch is readying the ship to go to the coordinates of where Thrawn is. And so spiritual lines, life type references. Okay. So yeah. So so they come after Ahsoka and Sabine, and they take out all of the guards. They take them all out immediately, and all that's left is the chick, the blind chick, and one more dude. Sabine takes on the blind chick, and Ahsoka takes on the dude, and he has like a double saber, kind of like Darth Maul. Double red saber. Oh, I see. For her show, is no references to it. Yeah. It could be. It could be that this season they don't reference it at all, because they're busy dealing with Thrawn right now. They sort of jumped right into the Thrawn problem, and maybe they'll deal with this next season. So if it gets picked back up, there's always time for them to explore it later. So so they fight. Sabine first uses her blaster, then she switches to to the lightsaber. And for her to be one of the worst Jedis, as the robot called her, she's holding her own against this evil force user who's pretty good and who beat her last time. So she's holding her own. And Rosario beats the other guy, who turns out to be, I guess, a droid. And Sabine tells her to go get the map. So she runs, and now she uh, faces off against the other evil force user, and they have a fight. Yeah, yeah, she did. She did have some cold kill scenes. So I think this fight between her and the evil force user was the 5 seconds that I saw from the trailer was from this fight. And it was from the very, very beginning of the fight. With them just sort of, taking out their lightsabers and getting started. So she fights him, she fights him, she fights him. And the blonde chick comes back. And he tells her to go get the map. And Ahsoka, thinking that she's killed Sabine, because, why else would she see her there, takes her and throws her against the wall, which is kind of what she deserves. And but he still has her up against the edge of the cliff with his lightsaber at her throat. Sabine shows up, and she gets the map. She holds her blaster on it, and Ahsoka tells her to destroy it because she already told her. She was like, "Look, if we can't get it, then nobody can." And she already told her, we need to destroy it so nobody can get to Thrawn. I know you want to get to Ezra, but they can't get to Thrawn. And so she holds her, she bluffs, holds her blaster to it to get him to back off of Ahsoka. But he still pushes her over the cliff, and she doesn't destroy the thing. And it's like, I don't like Sabine very much. I don't think so. I feel like he's already flipped sides because he's already been a Jedi and he's flipped to the Empire. Why would he flip back? I feel he's dyed in the wool, true blue, soldier of the Empire. Yeah. So when Sabine did that, and it's like they try to tell us over and over again that he's like a brother to her. He's like a brother to her. He's like a brother to her. And I'm like, so what? This dude is dangerous. Ahsoka told you to destroy it. Ahsoka was like, can I count on you? And of course she was lying. I was like, of course you can't count on her. She's the reason why they had the map in the first place. If she would have kept the map on the ship, they wouldn't have it now. She had to go steal the map and take it home. I do not like Sabine. I do not like Sabine at all. So now Sabine is captured by the two evil force users, and she's on the ship. And right as they're taking off, Hera comes in, but Hera comes in, General Hera comes in too late. They they warp out of there before she can catch them. And now, they have no map. He destroyed the map. There's no way to know where they're going. And they have Sabine because she's an idiot. She should have destroyed the map. Then Ahsoka wakes up. He should have never survived the saber to the gut. Ain't no babysitters in Star Wars. I don't know. I don't know either. I'm like, why is your son not only with you, but in your co-pilot's chair? Like, really? Really? You got your son with you? Where? I don't. Okay, so I don't watch the show, so I don't know where her baby daddy at. He must be dead. Or because, sorry, he must be dead because there's always a tragic backstory. And but just because your baby daddy most likely is dead doesn't mean your son got to be with you everywhere you go. But I didn't watch Star Wars Rebels, so I don't know her backstory. So all of their backstories would help if you had watched, because all of these people, Hera, Sabine, Ahsoka, they were in the animated shows. You will understand their backstories a lot better if you had watched those shows. Otherwise, you're coming in here and you're saying, you're stupid for having your son with you. You're stupid for giving up this map, for looking for one dude. You just seem stupid. All of the motivations seem stupid without knowing their backstory. So Ahsoka wakes up in a cave somewhere on this narrow path that looks like the bridge from Thor, and Anakin Skywalker is there. Now, whether he's a Force ghost or not, we'll find out next week. My bet is he's a Force ghost, because when he became a Force ghost, he went back to his, he went back to that form. And he is a Force ghost. On Return of the Jedi, they replaced the original actor with Hayden Christensen. So that, so now Anakin Skywalker looks like Hayden Christensen when he becomes a Force ghost. So my bet is on he's a Force ghost. It does look like that bridge from Thor. His father was a Jedi Knight who was killed in combat while saving Hera. He died before the son was born. See, the father is dead. Just because your baby daddy is dead, don't mean the baby got to be everywhere with you. I know they got nannies in the universe, that big, wide universe. Even if they don't have actual organic nannies, they'll have android nannies. They'll have android nannies to take care of that boy. Come on. Darth Vader got to be the coolest Force ghost to have. He was her Jedi Master. So it would make sense that he would show himself to her in her time of need. So, so this is where we are. This is where we leave. This is where we leave off. They basically, the evil Force users and the witch have jumped into hyper, what is it, warp, hyperspace. I'm mixing up Star Trek and Star Wars. They've jumped into hyperspace, heading to the place where Thrawn is. They have Sabine as their prisoner. They're going to get Thrawn and Ezra. I don't think she's dead. I don't think she's dead. I think the Force saved her. Because the Force is this all-encompassing force that does whatever they needed to do whenever they needed to do it. I think the Force saved her. Well, Ezra is the reason why Thrawn is what do you call it? Supposedly dead. You know, he's supposedly dead because Ezra supposedly killed him and supposedly died in the process. So he was hard to take down. So this is why I had such troubles with the senators who didn't want to send a team out with them. It's like none of you were there when Thrawn went down. You didn't see a body. So none of you know for sure that he's dead. You're just taking the word of who, the word of what. These people believe he is alive. They believe Ezra is alive. They're going through great trouble to find him. And I just don't believe the Empire would waste their resources to search for something that isn't there. And they're so, oh my goodness, they're just so stupid. It's the same thing that happened in The Mandalorian. They're just letting the Empire take over all over again. They're letting them take over. So when we see the sequels, we understand why I can never remember. I always want to call them the New World Order, the First Order, whatever order they were. We understand why they're in place and why they grew so large. It's because the New Republic allowed them to grow so large. Just out of just stupidness. So and the thing about it is, their undercovers aren't people who were unknown to them. Their undercovers were people who were known to be workers in the Empire. Every Empire spy has been a former Empire worker, which is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. You're letting the same people who fought against you before win against you again. You're letting them come in and spy against you. because they took an oath? Don't you know people lie? Didn't you lie when you were in the rebellion? Why doesn't that why doesn't that thought come to anybody? You lied when you were in the rebellion. Why not? Wouldn't they lie in the empire until they get more power? It makes no sense for them to be so lax. I hate that. I think it's just I feel like both times the Republic and the New Republic losing came behind stupidity. And it's like, well, no wonder you lost. You were being stupid both times. But so that's all for today. We'll see what's up with Ahsoka next Wednesday. I have no idea what to binge watch next. I've binge watched The Peacemaker. I've binge watched The Witcher. I've binge watched Wednesday. I am going through this list of things that I needed to watch. Exactly. Exactly. Shadow and Bones. That's the guy from Prince Caspian, right? I think I might have heard of that one. That's on Netflix, right? Shadow and Bones. Hmm. I'm gonna look into it. I'm not gonna promise I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna look into it first and see if I'm interested. If I watch it, then I'll post on the community post. And if I watch it, I'll talk about it on Monday. Okay. So I'll look into it and I'll see. Okay. So I have a video, of course, Friday. It's a Dragon Con video, just telling you about my time at Dragon Con. And I'll be back on Monday. And so I shall see you next Monday. But in the meantime, thanks for watching.